let me first quickly jump into the two terms that are not very often brought together: spiritual and patriot. And there's a reason why these things are not being put together. So what does it mean to be spiritual? To first acknowledge and know that there is a all-encompassing, all-loving, all that is creator. There is a creator, a higher consciousness that binds everything together, that created everything that we are, we see, and we cannot see. And to have a deep heart, soul connection with that creator. That's what it means to be spiritual for me. What it really truly means to practice that every day is to live up to that beautiful connection, is to live up and live by the highest standards. And then patriotism to me means that you love your land, you love your country, you love your community, you love everything that it entails. Being a patriot does not mean you have to love your government. As a matter of fact, if that were the definition of patriot, we wouldn't have any on the planet today, because almost nobody loves their government. But the land, the people, the community, the culture. And it also means to me that you have a deep desire to contribute to that, to serve, to bring something to it, to add to it, to make it better, to make it more beautiful. We love America, we love this country, and we want to be part of the spiritual patriots that make it and help make it what it can be, all the beautiful potential. So that's a little bit of explanation about the two terms. But this is a call for action today, and a particular call. In our view, you have to embody those two qualities if you want to create change where you live in your community. Because if you don't have that spiritual spark within you, if you don't have that, then you don't have a moral compass. And that's exactly what we're seeing in the world today. Leaders, politicians that have no moral compass anymore, that are driven by usually three factors: that's power, money, and sex. And so a call to all patriots across the planet, everywhere, in all corners of the world. If you have a deep desire for change and say it's enough, we want to create positive change. I know what my community can be. I know what my people can be. I know what my nation can be. I know what we all can be. Then it's a time to step into creative and action power. And how do we do that? What do we mean by that? As a matter of fact, both the spiritual community and the patriotic community have been infiltrated heavily and have been bombarded with discouraging messages. In the spiritual community, there's a big non-action message that's been going on, something that sometimes drives us crazy, because people are being told what it really means to be spiritual is just be in your heart, live, love, and light, think positive thoughts, and don't take any action. Especially don't take any action when it comes to the political process of your country, of your town, of your village, of your city, of your community, because that's such unspiritual work. It totally messes with your energy. I can't hear that stuff. As a matter of fact, I think it's the biggest load of crap ever. And people who talk like that, I have absolutely no tolerance for that, because it is the exact opposite of what practical spirituality really is. And practical spirituality is to bring all the beautiful principles of love and kindness and kinship and friendship and creativity and a moral compass to those processes. And now, not in a week, not in a month, not in a year, now is the time for people who feel that way, who have this beautiful, all-encompassing love, to take action. And in that, I mean to enter the process of how decisions are being made, how policies are being set. And this begins on the smallest level, and this is the most powerful level. People think, well, I can't be president or I can't be prime minister. On the smallest level, and this is the most powerful because this is the direct will of the people, is town councils, mayors, and all kinds of positions in your community. If you think about this, how much beautiful, powerful influence we could all have if we would somewhere enter the political process as well and bring these qualities to the process. And for that, you need to first realize what you really stand for and have a clear set of principles. Now it's the time for spiritual patriots to step in and begin creating from a completely different worldview. Let's take America as a beautiful example. Why we love this nation, this land so much is, number one, we have a deep connection. And this is probably applicable in many ways to a lot of you, no matter where you live, right? You might have that same feeling for South Africa. You might have that same feeling for Slovakia. You might have that same feeling for Australia. I can just speak from what it feels like to me is a deep love for the energy, first and foremost, for the energy of this beautiful land of what the Native Americans call Turtle Island. What a beautiful energy, so much richness and so much freedom, so much possibility, so much openness, and so much beauty, natural beauty that you can find here. The nature is just absolutely stunning and beautiful. But aside from that, this culture, the way it is lived now, with all of its positives and negatives, it is still a place for constant possibility for positive change. I've never felt the same drive for positive change anywhere else in the world, and I've never felt the willingness and readiness anywhere else in the world in such large sections of the population, the willingness to try something new, the willingness to see maybe a better way. If people think of the American way or people think of the American dream, that's a very commercialized view, and that has its truths. But what I really see is if someone steps up and if someone communicates a message that is positive, that is healing, that is enriching, that helps everybody or has the intent to help everybody, in the United States of America, people have a very open heart for that, a very open spirit for positive change. That's one of the things that we love most about this beautiful country. But right now, the process for positive change, for positive creation is completely hijacked by people that have the exact opposite in mind. Large sections of the decision makers are driven by completely different motivators and are driven by different things that don't have your best interest at heart whatsoever. And people always ask us, what can I do? What can I do? I'm just one man, I'm just one woman, what can I do? And here's the thing, if you really feel called to become active, which is so important, become active. The first question is, in your community where you live, look at your town, look at your village, look at your city, look at your county. What are the things you feel would benefit all of the people? What are the things you feel would need changing? What are the things you feel would be beneficial to all? Our long-term vision is, and we believe that's the only way to live true freedom, is to bring down the size of government to probably 1/10 or less of its current size, and that's worldwide. We have a complete de-freedomizing process right now by government becoming completely disproportionately big and taking over all aspects of life. And actually, the idea is to bring in wonderful people that have a broader mind, a broader spectrum, that see things in a clearer way, have a moral compass, to bring into the process positive change and to slowly but surely bring down the size of government to a very, very small and essential part. Government should not manage our lives. It should manage certain aspects of our common interest. That's the true purpose for government, nothing else. It shouldn't have a say in how you live your life. It shouldn't have a say in the decisions that you make. It shouldn't dictate to you how you should heal yourself or receive treatment. It shouldn't dictate to you what you can or cannot put into your body. It shouldn't dictate those things to you. That's not the role of government. But that's a process, and it won't happen if we just stand on the sidelines and over and over and over again leave the political process to people that are in it for a business. For them, it's a business. Look at the political structure in most countries. People stay in positions for as long as possible. They get out of it as much as possible, and as soon as they are out of there, they come into high-paying jobs in the corporate world that they, of course, receive because they have done favors for those corporations while they were in a political process. This way, nothing will ever change. It isn't enough to just envision beautiful things. It isn't enough to just meditate and pray. It isn't enough to just do that work. It requires tangible, physical, verifiable human action. Human action. What has been keeping you? What is it? Is it because people told you, oh, politics is a dirty business, you shouldn't enter that? Is it because people said, well, only crooks are in politics? Or is it because everybody's going to hate you once you enter that? Forget the word politics. Forget how the business side of it works. Think of it as new leadership. And there hasn't been a culture, a tribe that had any lasting value that didn't have leadership. But the true leadership will inspire more personal responsibility in people. True leadership will inspire more contribution by people. Imagine if you had a leader, a mayor in your city, or someone on a city or a town council who would speak from their heart, who would share a vision that you align with. Imagine what that would inspire within you, how you would actually love to participate in processes, how you would love to bring more action to it. And it's a co-creative process. If you do that in groups and communities, if you actually begin to strategize in that and bring beautiful groups of people together and say, well, what would happen if we entered this process? And I would be in this position, you would be in that position, and he would be in that position, and she would be there. Imagine what we could do. Not as a conspiracy to take over, just to create positive change for your community. And that is the strongest potential. People forget that. People think the president, the prime minister, parliament, Congress, Senate, those are the really important positions. No, it's the grassroots. It's your community, because that brings people together. That creates real strength. And that's the directest line that you will have. The reason why it requires your action in your community, in your village, in your town, is because no one knows it better than you. Hey, this is Jean Nolan. Thanks so much for watching. You can watch the full live stream on this topic by clicking on the link in the description.